Urban wildlife is very mobile, and you're not likely to see anything unusual unless you're Prince Charles with a big garden. You might see an otter, who knows? If he hasn't shot them, who knows? But in trying to interlink your gardens with your neighbours, right, I'm going to put a question to you. What is one of the rarest things out in the countryside that is one of the most commonest things in gardens? One of the rare, unless you live in Cheshire and there's loads of them. What's rare in the countryside but common in what would you expect to see in the garden?
Currently blooming pigeons.
Come on. They're one of the 4 component parts of a wildlife garden. Begins with P. Ponds. They are very rare out in the countryside, but we've already made a difference. Challenge 10. Now this is where we need volunteers. Challenge 10. Feeding birds. We all love doing that, but people complain about magpies. They're killing a lot of young birds. By feeding garden birds, like we are, is artificially propping up the populations in very condensed areas. We're actually spreading lots of disease as well by having these species. So we're actually making it very easy for the magpies to be able to do what they do. But for me, and this is a challenge I'm going to set you, if the magpies are doing so well, it must mean that the garden birds are actually thriving as well. Because I'm not convinced they are actually dying out as much as people say. Everybody is feeding garden birds. They have so many choices. So just because they've disappeared from your garden today and this year doesn't mean they're not in your next door neighbour's garden, dining over there. You have to go to the record centre to actually look as a whole to see what the populations are actually happening, what they're doing. So, you know, I'm just thinking, if magpies are doing so well, obviously the garden birds are doing pretty well as well. It's, you know, the sparrowhawks, yeah, they're causing a number of deaths. Cats are. Yeah. The problem is the balance has been lost. These things were always there. Well, magpies weren't. They sort of came and colonised in the 1920s, I think. But there's always been predators. But they're filling this void, and it's bigger than just them. It's a bigger picture. There's more going on than just one species. It's down to us. I remember years ago, we used to go to London, Victoria Coach Station, and I remember pulling out of there, and there used to be, the windscreen was covered in insects, and the house sparrows used to come and eat the insects off the windscreen as we were moving along. But a lot of the house sparrows have died out. One, because we're blocking up the holes in our house. We're so tidy, so they've got no nest sites. Our style of agriculture is changing. There's less food in winter. They've also done a study in Sheffield, and they found that house sparrows often have 2 broods. The first brood is very, very successful, but there's a mite that's infesting the nests, so it's killing off the second brood. So there's all this stuff going on.